Hi guys, so I'm pretty sure that you don't know that Sketchbook has a hairbrush which can actually give you this result. So if you are curious to see what brush that is and how to actually use it, then keep on watching this video. So the brushes I was talking about is Paintbrush 1 and Paintbrush 2. Paintbrush 3 is not, I would not call it a hairbrush, but these brushes are really good. Just look at this. You can increase the size of it to draw hair and decrease the size of it to create eyelashes or eyebrows. I usually prefer using Paintbrush 1, but both of these brushes are really good when it comes to drawing hair. But in this video, I am going to be using Paintbrush 1. Here, I'm just showing you how they actually look like. And let me know if you guys already knew about this brush. I just recently discovered it, so I was like really fascinated by it. So as I said, I'm gonna go ahead with Paintbrush 1 for this tutorial. And there's one setting that you wanna do still. You wanna go to settings and hit advanced settings and go to pressure and decrease the opacity with light pressure, because we want the ends of each and every hair strand that we create to be lighter as compared to the whole hair strand. That's how you actually make the whole hair look natural. Now to begin with, I just pick up any color. I just have this very random color palette which I did not even use that much. So I picked up this really light brownish kind of color, and here I am actually drawing a curly hair chunk. So as you guys can see how easy it is to create hair strands really quickly, because each stroke has a bunch of hair strands, if that makes any sense. So yeah, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to explain you guys what I'm doing here. I created a hair chunk, and I also made sure that I'm adding some of the hair around the edges of the hair just to make it look more natural. As you guys can see how easy and quick that was, like it already looks so good. Just to intensify it, I duplicate the layer and I decrease the opacity of duplicated layer, and then I merged it with the initial layer. Once you are happy with the intensity of it all, you want to create a new layer, change the layer mode to multiply. Here we are going to be adding some shadows, which is necessary, although it already is looking really good. So I'm actually using the similar brush to add shadows. You can use airbrush, but I would highly recommend you guys just sticking to this brush when you're drawing hair, because we want to stick to drawing hair strands rather than adding some sort of shadow over it, and that might ruin the whole realistic hair look. So as you guys can see here, I'm adding the shadows. Now it does depend on the reference you're using, but just add it wherever you think there should be a shadow. Then I created another layer right at the bottom of every other layer that we have, and here I just started filling in all the gaps that we have, which is necessary so that the shadow we are adding and the highlights we're going to add later on shows up properly. So this step is necessary. Just use the color you use to create the initial hair chunk, your base hair chunk. Now going back to multiply layer and obviously the same color, I am actually gonna add more hair strands, and I'm adding it all over the hair chunk, being really light on the screen because I don't want it to be too dark, but I also kind of want that the shadow we are creating merges with the whole hair chunk. Hence the reason why you want to add some dark hair strands all over the hair chunk or the hairstyle that you're creating. So that's what I did right here. Guys, it's already looking good. Like it's so good. Like I've been obsessed with Sketchbook lately. And once you're happy with that, I always go back to the smudge brush and just decrease the opacity as much as you can, because it's like really intense. This brush is intense. Here the goal is to blend the rough edges if you see any. If you don't have to use it. Just smudge the starting points of each hair strand and you are good to go. You don't have to blend it all out because we want to keep the harshness as well. Now create another layer above the multiply layer and change the layer mode to linear dodge, because here we are going to be adding lighter hair strands. Even though you don't need to change the layer mode, you can just pick up any light color and it actually works the same. Again, sticking to the paintbrush 1, I'm adding lighter hair strands here. Again, you don't have to change layer mode. You just pick up a light color to make it lighter. So as you guys can see, I added more lighter hair strands. That's how you actually draw paint hair. You build up the whole hair chunk or the whole hairstyle layer by layer. Alright, so here I added lighter hair strands, again going back to the smudge tool, and I'm just gonna be smudging out any hair strand which looks a little too harsh, a little too much, or if the edges or the starting points of it looks too much. That's what I am blending right here, making sure that the opacity is really low, you guys. You cannot increase the opacity, it's strong. All right, creating another layer above the linear dodge layer. I think here we are going to be adding highlights. So for that, what you want to do, you want to pick up even a lighter color, and wherever you think the light should hit, add the hair strands there, just there, not the whole hair chunk, only where you want to add the highlights. Just add this there, that is it. And I actually went back to multiply layer, picked up a black color because I kind of wanted to intensify the shadows, and you don't have to do it, but I just did it. So what I basically did, I just added some hair strands with this black color, and because this airbrush was really light, I actually was trying different brushes to see what works the best, but this airbrush was really light. So at some point I went back to the layer right at the bottom, and I just started filling in the gaps with the black color, just so that everything I'm doing on the screen, or every color that I'm adding on the hair, pops out. So as you guys can see, I just went back to the multiply layer, added more black color, more black colored hair strands. Now once I was happy with that, if that was confusing, by the way, you can always ask me a question down in the comment section below. All right, here I am intensifying the highlights. Even though you don't have to go or build the highlight layer by layer, you can do it all at once, but I like to build it up. So here I went ahead and picked up my paintbrush once again, and I just added more light colored hair strands wherever I wanted to add the highlights. As you guys can see here, it's looking good. It's looking really good already. I'm so impressed by the brush. Like, Procreate has a lot of hairbrush, but they do not actually work this good. And just to kind of also, I'm still working on the highlights part of it. And once I was happy with all the hair strands and everything, what I did was I decreased the size of paintbrush 1, which is our hairbrush, and I added more hair strand, but this time around they were shorter in length, because that's what we want to do. The whole idea is to kind of how do I explain it, like, if there is a specific area that you want to highlight, you want to first you want to work in layers where first layer is barely there and the second layer is, more intense as compared to the previous one, and also shorter in length, if that makes any sense, because the brighter colors should appear as if the highlight is actually blending out with the whole hair chunk, if that makes any sense, or it belongs to the hair chunk. So in the end, what I did, I picked up an airbrush and I added these little dots over the highlighted part of the hair, just to make it look glossy, just to add this really intense highlight on the hair. Even though you don't have to do this, you can, if you don't like glossy hair, or if you don't want to add glossy hairstyle to your painting, it's completely fine. You can completely skip this step, but I like to do this. And once I'm actually happy with all the highlights, I go back to the smudge brush and I just make sure that I'm not smudging it all again. I just focus on smudging the starting points of it and the end points of it, because we did use airbrush, and we don't want any kind of harshness or any kind of unevenness on the hair chunk, and that's why I went back and used the smudge brush. And That's how easy it was. Like it was really easy, and I really liked the whole result. I really hope you guys found this video helpful. Do let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think about this tutorial, if you already knew about the brush or not. And if you do end up creating a hair chunk using this brush, do not forget to tag me on Instagram. I would love to see what you created. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video.